What's up, everyone? This is Anthony Gallegos alongside Charles on Yet from IGN.
How's it going?
And we are checking out the War Z, the game that's had a little bit of a troubled couple of days, I guess you could say.
Yeah, a little bit of controversy. So the War Z has been playable for a while. Through the official site, you could buy into what's basically an in-development version of the game. So you buy into it as it's being made. But it also came out on Steam recently, which made it seem like kind of a full product launch.
Yeah.
And that was, and if they were calling it a full product launch, then there are a lot of features that they still need to add. A bigger problem was that, oh my God, Anthony, you're being shot.
I think so. There are people in the space. So.
A bigger problem was that it was posted on Steam with product listings with a feature list that basically wasn't in the game. So it promised features that simply haven't been implemented yet, and it's more of a future things that are on the development schedule for the near future, but they're not actually live in the game. So people were buying, at least initially, the game on Steam with a false feature list, which is bad, obviously. If you buy something, if a game says, hey, we've got this, and then it's like, actually, there's quite a bit of that stuff you don't have, and you've already paid money, then that is bad.
Yeah, I mean, you might have been noticing I've been getting experience as I kill these zombies, and originally the description said that all this experience you earn could be put into tons of skill points and, level up your character, and that's currently not implemented in the build.
Yeah, and the response from the developer was also not great, and by not great, I mean select members decided to argue against the idea that they were in the wrong with the product listings. So today, while we're recording this earlier today, Valve pulled the War Z off of Steam. So you can no longer buy the War Z through Valve's digital distribution service. And in a statement that was issued, Valve basically apologized and said they prematurely issued a copy of the War Z. And if you happened to buy it during that period, it was the top-selling game on Steam it was out.
It was
came out and
really well.
Almost instantly was the top-selling game on Steam and stayed that way until it was pulled. So Valve's offering refunds if you go to their support site. And, again, they apologized, and it seems like, it could come out later. War Z is still listed on Steam, so you can still find it on there. You just can't buy it anymore, so you cannot pay money to play it. However, you can still pay money to play it through the official site, so it's not like the game is shut down or anything. It's just its launch of what they had called a foundation version, which wasn't really clear if that meant it was still their beta version that they'd been testing, or if it was what they considered, launchable. Clearly, they did consider it, good enough to be purchased, and then everyone else was kind of like, nope. and so now it is back behind the wall of Steam until Valve or whatever happens behind the scenes until it's determined that it can go back up for sale on Steam in the new release category. This type of distribution where you buy into an in-development game is not a new concept. It's what happened with Minecraft. Basically, you buy into the game with the understanding that that features will be added, that the game isn't complete, and then it's still going. It's just the way their quote-unquote launch was handled was very, very poorly communicated to the point where, oh my God, Anthony, you're dead.
Yeah, fighting multiple zombies even with a melee weapon is pretty tough.
Yeah, to the point where they, in some cases, they're basically just lying to. There was misinformation given to players, and it wasn't. It was given in the context where people were actually paying money for lies, essentially.
Yeah,
that was adjusted, but that was the case initially.
The game is like, play with your friends. The original description was like, play with your friends and do that. And even right now, if I click on friends, it's a feature that's coming soon. So that obviously there's still a lot left to be done. Leaderboards again coming soon.
Right. So I mean, what we were going to do here was actually just talk about what's actually in the game, what it's actually like to play the War Z. Knowing that it is sort of an in-development version of the game that maybe isn't ready for a full, well, not maybe, that isn't ready for a full Steam launch yet.
Yeah, so when you come in, you can pretty much just create a character. I'm going to remake the guy that just died. You can select normal or hardcore. The only difference at this point is that normal, if you die, you have a 4-hour respawn timer before you can jump back in the game, or you can pay a small microtransaction to jump in immediately. Or you can do hardcore, where once they die, they're dead forever.
And so what do you think about that microtransaction system?
I mean, I think that it's potentially cool if you have a character that's earned a bunch of experience and, you don't want to wait for that 4-hour cooldown. You want to keep building that RPG-like progression. But for now, since it's not there, there's no reason to do it. Like, if anything, it's a disadvantage of you to not just delete the character and restart, because every new character you currently create starts with this: a flashlight, can of soda, granola bar, and bandages. Anytime you die and respawn them and revive them, they start with nothing. So it's better at this point, since there's no RPG mechanics, just to delete them and get this new equipment back, because in the world, at this point, I've never found a weapon of any sort in the wild. I found plenty of food and water, cans of pasta, cans of tuna, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so it seems like maybe the idea there was basically like with really irritating social games that have energy mechanics in them, where it's like, hey, you can't do anything else in this game because your energy ran out, so you can either choose to just wait, real-world hours, or you can pay money to, refill your energy and bypass that cooldown. That's essentially what they've implemented here, except it's also kind of broken because, as you said, you can just bypass you're not really losing anything by deleting your character. In fact, you're actually gaining stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if that experience you build up over time actually becomes significant, but with only getting 5 EXP per zombie and most of the time not even living that long, for me, I haven't found much of a reason to really sit there and stick with one character for a long period of time.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about kind of the botched launch of the War Z on Steam. But let's talk about the actual game. So the game itself is basically sort of like DayZ in that you run around in a large environment, and there are zombies that are, I guess, are they concentrated in populated spaces?
Yeah, so
or in city spaces?
These areas that you have to go to survive are very much this is where if we go to the map, actually, right now I'm in a safe zone. That's actually another player. If we look at the map, all these towns, you see camps, bases, cities. The zombies will all spawn around there, but that's also, just like DayZ, that's where the food and materials that you need to actually survive will spawn as well. So you kind of have to go to those areas.
You do have to go into the cities, basically, if you want to find anything. Unless you just want to kind of sit on a tree and hope, sit near a tree and hope nobody actually does anything to you.
Player left a note.
But then the players are also a threat because they will just kill you.
Correct.
And take your stuff.
Yeah, right now there's a bunch of us standing around here, but I can see a bunch of players off there in the distance. We're in a safe zone at the moment, so we can't be killed, but I'm wondering if this is the edge of the safe zone.
So if you leave the safe zone, are you immediately going to be shot by another player?
That's the question we're about to find out.
I mean, is that pretty common behavior where players just kind of camp safe zones and just get materials off of people?
That could be, yeah.
It doesn't seem like anyone's dying over there unless they are.
No, yeah, and this is still technically the safe zone, though. That guy right there does have a rifle. Yeah, I guess somebody figured out how to build barricades as well. So they're just playing around with that. Yeah, all these guys have guns, and I know that... That's the edge
Is that the edge of the safe zone? Oh, my God. So they're standing in the safe zone?
Yeah.
Waiting for people to leave?
So, yeah, I know that people have been saying there have been people that have been hacking, and look at all these guys with guns. I tell you, I've never seen one in the wild, and all these guys have guns. Now, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the safe zone edge.
So maybe...
I'm going to run off.
Did that guy run out of the safe zone and then immediately run back in and is now standing next to them?
Yeah. Probably because he doesn't want to get shot.
They're just kind of waiting for him to get bored and continue on so that they can fire at him?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I want to see if I run out here. I mean, that's the thing.
Are you outside? You're outside the safe zone
now? I am right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like DayZ, War Z.
Oh, my God.
The biggest threat to you.
Oh, my God.
The biggest threat to you are players, right? Zombies are a threat, but unlike DayZ, you can actually lose zombies pretty easy if they catch you. But players, they might be nice to you. That guy with the gun could have escorted me around and did missions with me, or help me out to find stuff, but instead he chose to just shoot me.
Yeah, they're just basically, they're spawn camping.
Right.
So, does that ruin the experience, or is that basically part of the experience? Like the fact that it is really this. So you just revived your character there.
I did. Yeah, I actually just did it because I do have a little bit in-game transaction money. Well, here, I'll see. Because the thing is that every time you join a game, you never actually start in the same place. So it's not like a DayZ where there's like the beach that everyone starts on. This one,
Which people would camp.
Yes, exactly. But in this one, I had that guy in that safe city when he joined, but this guy, when he spawns, so must have failed to join the server. He'll probably be somewhere else entirely. I've never spawned in the same place twice.
Okay, so you're not like necessarily locked there. So it's like, oh great, I'm around this
No.
barricade of guys with guns again who are just going to shoot everyone.
Yeah. You know, and I could always join another server. Like right now, there are a lot of servers, and there are a lot of people playing. When the servers first launched, one of the things that people rightfully complained about was that all the servers were locked at 50 population cap. They've all since been bumped to 100. I think this is a different camp. So, let me see where I am. Oh yeah, I'm at a totally different camp at this point. I'll just head out. So yeah, I know that was something people complained about, but right now we can look, and I can see at least 79 people here playing. And
so what's the penalty if you do run around like those guys are doing and kill everyone?
Yeah, well, you'll see if you look.
Does that say Mega Bandit?
Yeah, so there are different titles you get where people can then kind of understand.
How can you be a Mega Bandit?
I imagine that this guy, however you say that name, player number 28, he must have killed a lot of people to become a Mega Bandit.
A mega number of people.
Yes. So, most of us are neutral, right? But I guess, one thing I don't like about that mechanic, though, is originally there was something like that in DayZ where you got reskinned if you killed enough players, but they got rid of it because it kind of ruined emergent gameplay. If you knew someone was a bandit, you would not approach them and talk to them. But I like the idea of not ever really being able to trust anyone. In DayZ, it was a really big signifier of trust when you would turn your back on someone. And with this, if you know they're a bandit, like, why would you ever do that?
Yeah, and to be clear, with the respawning, like, even if you hadn't bought in, there's no cost associated with deleting your character and just creating another one.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to do that. Like I said, at this point, like, that guy that I just revived, he had maybe 5 experience ever on him. So, he wasn't significant in any way, shape, or form. I just did it to show how the mechanic works.
And if you do choose to buy weapons, those are all at risk if you do wind up in a fight with anyone, really.
Yeah, I mean, even I don't have a way to attack right now, but even if I just had like that flashlight and I were to catch one of those players with a gun, just AFK, and he left himself out here, I could beat him to death and then take all his equipment. Even if he paid like real world money for the stuff that he had, I could take that from him. So I mean, you may spend real world money on some items, but that doesn't mean that someone can't steal them from you.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something I would want to spend real money on.
Yeah, I also,
if you just lose it. I mean, yeah, you have, if it's just virtual items that are just valuable to find, I mean, I think there's enough risk, there's enough sense of tension there with the threat of losing all of that to somebody else. I don't need to add like, oh, by the way, I just also lost, $5 or whatever I happened to pay for the gear I was bringing around.
Totally. I also think it's a little interesting and maybe bad that they don't tell people that can happen.
Is that not messaged?
No, like when you buy something, it's not like, all right, just so you know, if you buy this and you die, someone's going to take it.
Oh, that's pretty terrible. Yeah, it seems like this, well, it doesn't seem like this game has a problem with messaging.
Yeah, it does.
With making these things clear. That's obviously an important detail of purchasing there.
It looks like
are you moving into kind of a smaller town here?
Yeah, this is the town of Rocky Ford.
So, I mean, how much stuff can you actually get? Like, if you were to be successful in this game and get items together, you would get, what, like armor?
In theory, you should be able to find all that stuff.
Vehicles,
maybe?
Better
backpacks, because my current backpack only has the 8 slots. So you can get, like, giant 24-slot backpacks, pistols, melee weapons, rifles, crazy machine guns, flares. And then, in theory, eventually there should be vehicles that you can also play with, though those currently haven't been added. It also looks like there's obviously a day-night cycle, and it looks like it's getting pretty dark.
And then in terms of your health, I mean, in DayZ, it's a challenge to, stay alive in terms of just staying away from zombies, but it's also, you have quite a bit of manage in terms of your own personal survival.
Yeah, totally. In DayZ, I mean, you can break a leg, and then if you break a leg, you have to find a splint, and then you have to find pain medication, or else your guy will constantly be getting, the shakes and sort of problems. But with this, it's a lot less complex. This is mainly you have 1 health bar, and so if you find antibiotics, pain pills, all that, all they do is raise your health. So you don't have to worry about the other medical conditions as much as, just a general health bar.
Okay, so it's a little more simplified in that regard. You don't actually have as much to consider when you're trying to keep... Oh my goodness, what have you found?
This looks like this is
The greatest thing ever.
This is very clearly where a player died.
Well, why would somebody kill somebody and not take their stuff?
Well, this might have been a zombie death.
Oh, right.
So, can of soda, vaccine, and a
But-
medium backpack. Let me see, is that backpack?
Okay, so you just upgraded your backpack.
Yeah.
But no guns. Or no weapons, rather.
Oh no, I think it's the same backpack. Yeah, he had a starting backpack. But
Oh.
now I do have a flashlight.
Okay, so
So-
massive upgrade.
Yeah, now I do have a basic attack.
You can bludgeon.
Yeah. And I have some instant oatmeal now in case I get hungry. It is getting dark progressively fast here. You do have to worry about sound and visuals, just like DayZ.
Yeah, so if you were to shoot it, like if you were to actually find a gun and you were to fire it, then that's something that, would cause a pack of zombies to chase after you, basically.
Yeah, totally.
So you do have some of the same considerations for really staying hidden and staying quiet.
Yeah, melee weapons are definitely a big boon in that sense because, firing a weapon can become such a huge problem. Nice. Take it.
Are there any options? Oh, so here we can see some zombies. Are there any options for social organization? Like if you had a couple friends who are playing the game and you could sort of group up and do things together, so you're not just kind of on your own and obviously quite vulnerable.
Yeah. So for now you can create clans, but the friends list stuff is currently disabled. So really you would have to coordinate outside of the game to kind of get together, and that is a little bit easier than say the DayZ mod, only because the map does show you. Let me just. The map does show you exactly where you are, and you could tell them the specific server. And the map, it is big, while it's not super huge.
Oh. All right.
Well,
that guy had a gun.
That guy, well, yeah, and so actually if I leave it here for a second, we might be able to see. I don't know if there were any zombies close enough. Yeah, I guess he made a good call, man. He got quite a bit of food and bandages and pain medications off me.
So he's just taking all your stuff right now.
Oh, yeah, totally. So that pistol worked out pretty well for him. But yeah, I mean, just like, DayZ.
So if you could have snuck up on him, you could have flashlighted him, and
maybe, yeah, it would have taken a few hits though. So he might have turned and shot me beforehand. But yeah, that would have been a great find because he obviously has a pistol.
Well, actually, while we're on the screen, can you go to the marketplace and we can just sort of look at what you can actually pick up?
Yeah. So you have two different currencies that I've seen useful in the game. This one is the one that you buy. The GC is you pay for that. It's like 625 GC for $5. This other one, the blue one, those are dollars you find in-game. And so some items are like this tactical knife are only purchasable with those. And then all these other ones obviously have GC prices. But the stuff you can buy is currently pretty limited. You can buy ammo, you can't buy guns, you can buy melee weapons, you can buy some armor, though this doesn't actually give you more health. It's just,
And again, that's stuff that you would not hang on to.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually had...
Somebody killed you, you lose your teddy bear backpack.
Yeah, exactly.
Or your Halloween special pumpkin hat? Is that a pumpkin hat?
Yeah, it's like a scary pumpkin mask, and then, or you could I could buy a Santa face. So, might as well do that.
Did you just buy a Santa face?
I may have just bought a Santa face.
Anthony, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, but once you have it, you can just go and you can go to your global inventory, and you can actually access this when you're in those safe zones too. Let me see. So now I can just drag that onto my head.
There you go.
Now
Isn't that going to somehow make you more visible if you just see someone with a giant Santa hat walking around? Seems like that would kind of stick out a little bit.
100%. Look at that guy.
It's tough to blend in if you're wearing a giant Santa hat.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean there are currently some stuff. Obviously, I feel like this market is pretty bare bones at this point.
But again, I mean the game, it's still in development. I mean at this point, from what you've played so far, is it worth really buying into, or is it kind of the thing that's like, look, we really need to give them a little bit more time. They really rushed out that Steam release way before they should have, and it should just be kind of left to sit for a bit until even if something as basic as the skill system, you're just gaining experience towards nothing.
Yeah, I mean like $15 is a pretty cheap entry point, and there are other more expensive packages where you get more in-game cash. But I still feel like the game needs work. Like, even on the system we're running it on, which has like a 680 and a great Core i7 processor, it still always caps out around 20 frames per second. Like, the game is like poorly optimized. It's missing a lot of features that they say are going to come down the road. And for now, I just feel like with those issues, it's really hard to recommend at this point. But
Okay.
maybe in the future, if they can get the features that they say they're going to roll out, rolled out.
But some of the gameplay and the survival mechanics are okay, even if they're just basically DayZ.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that what people
Although simplified in some cases, as you described.
yeah, I think what people want at this point, right, is they played DayZ. It had a ton of hackers, ton of bugs, and what they wanted was a DayZ that is polished, a super polished, great DayZ experience with none of those like bugs and all the stuff that we put up with. And this is not that.
And that's what Dean Hall and his team are working on too right now.
Yeah.
That's the standalone version.
Yeah. So if they can roll that out, I mean, they're going to release it in alpha state as well. But I think that the War Z came out early and got out ahead of DayZ, but it's definitely going to have its work cut out for them if they want to stay ahead of what it sounds like Bohemia Interactive is working on.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we'll continue to play War Z. It seems like in its current state, it still feels a little bit incomplete, even if it does offer a basic kind of survival experience at the moment. But yeah, we'll continue to play, and oh my God! All right, we're gonna play up until this encounter happens, where this guy is inevitably gonna spin around and do something horrible to you.
Yeah, I actually on this.
Can you call out and just be like, "Hey, dude, what's up?"
On this character,
or is that a terrible idea?
On this character, I don't even have.
Can you
gun.
punch?
Nope.
Can you drop
Oh
kick?
my God. I'm gonna
Can you
overtake
punch
him.
and drop kick?
Hey, buddy.
This is the worst standoff.
Neither of us have weapons, so now we're just gonna
Okay, well this is actually pretty nice. So you can have non-lethal encounters with people, which may everyone could be alive at this point just because neither of you have weapons.
Yeah, and we're heading towards this military base together. Where
Maybe
I'm sure
a
we'll be.
much more different story.
Yeah, I'm sure once
if
we
somebody had a flashlight or a gun or a bat.
Exactly. I feel like at this military base, the first one of us who finds a weapon is just murdering the other
Yeah,
one. So.
that's very possible.
Now we're
But again, that's part of the tension of the game is the fact that, yes, the zombies are threats, but so are the people.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who are actually going to take your stuff, whereas the zombies will just kind of leave it there. Can you actually retrieve your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, if you get back to it in time, most of the time, though, I end up spawning far enough away that I get so distracted by searching in a city for, like, I'm like, oh, well, I'll just look for supplies here instead.
Right.
And most of the time so far, I haven't left behind anything precious enough that I'm like, I have to go back for that. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have more impressions up on IGN as the War Z's development continues.